Hello everyone, this is Tenguru, back with the second episode in my Bloodborne boss drawing series, where the goal is to draw every boss from the game. In addition to drawing each boss, the player character will also be included and depicted with gear that changes with every drawing to reflect their journey through the game. In the first episode, we faced off against the Cleric Beast on the Great Bridge of Central Yharnam. The night of the hunt has driven most of the inhabitants of the city mad, with only a few still lucid and the rest barely hanging on to their last bit of sanity. On our journey to the Grand Cathedral of Yharnam, we come across another hunter who has been claimed by the madness of the hunt. Father Gascoigne is a challenge that many struggled with as he tests everything you've learned so far throughout the game. He is a fellow hunter and is armed the same as you, gun in the left hand and melee weapon in the right. In fact, both of his weapons are options that you can choose at the start of the game, so there's a good chance that he will have the exact same setup as you. In addition to being armed the same way, his moveset is also the same as yours, meaning anything that he can do, you can do as well. That's what makes Gascoigne arguably your best instructor at learning the mechanics of the game. I'm sure many of you, like myself, were getting destroyed by Gascoigne in the first couple attempts, but by the end of the fight, you were beating him at his own game. If you hadn't gotten the hang of parries at this point, or didn't care to try, this is where the game forced your hand and says, learn or die, and that's what we love about it. In the first phase of the fight, Father Gascoigne uses the Hunter Axe and the Hunter's Blunderbuss as his weapons. His axe hits hard, but the thing to watch out for is his blunderbuss, which he will use to keep you from healing and parry you if you aren't too careful. It doesn't do a lot of damage on its own, but his visceral attacks certainly do. Plus, not being able to heal when you need to can spell a trip back to the lantern. Use the tombstones here to your advantage, and put them between him and yourself when you need to heal. It's best to try to parry with the gun of your choice when he swings, while staying just outside of his melee range. This will keep him from hitting you if you mess up the timing on the parry, and cutting down on your melee attacks will keep him from doing the same to you. When his health goes down a bit, he will transform his axe, losing the blunderbuss but gaining some range and charged attacks. Parries are still your best bet in this phase, and no blunderbuss will mean it's easier to heal when you need to. Just make sure you account for the increased threat range on his hunter's axe. The fight is pretty straightforward until he gets below half health, and then things can get ugly pretty quick. When he reaches this stage, he staggers for a bit, then erupts as he transforms into a massive beast. He is extremely aggressive in this stage of the fight, with many wild swipes that can easily end you if you get caught in the flurry of attacks. There are a few strategies that worked well for me in this stage, and all of them revolve around ending the fight as soon as possible. You can still continue with the parry and visceral attack plan in this stage, which shouldn't be too difficult to pull off with all the slashes he's throwing out. The biggest issue here is that one missed shot can mean getting caught in his whirlwind of attacks. A safer strategy to use is taking advantage of the weakness to fire he gains in his transformed state. You can try lobbing Molotovs when he starts to transform to take him out quickly, and use the stairs to give you time to throw when he comes at you. Another option, which can be used to great effect throughout all the stages of this fight, is the tiny music box. It can be found by talking to a little girl in a house near a gated shortcut in the city. Using it during the fight will stun Gascoigne momentarily in either form, giving you time to run behind him for a backstrike. If you use the music box right when he starts to transform, you can even stun him before he gets the chance to attack, to put some good damage in quick. This tiny music box has quite an effect on Gascoigne, and if you look a little into his backstory, you'll see why. Like most of the characters in Bloodborne, his story is a tragic one. Father Gascoigne was not native to Yharnam. Father is a title used for clerics in a foreign land, and there is no such rank in the Healing Church. As to what brought Gascoigne to Yharnam, the game is not clear, but I think it's safe to assume that it was likely healing through blood ministration, which Yharnam was well known for. Given that he was a cleric in his own land, he likely joined the Healing Church out of familiarity and was recruited as a hunter because of his natural size. As a hunter, Gascoigne could patrol the streets of Yharnam and protect his family on nights of the hunt. When exploring Yharnam, you'll likely come across Gascoigne's house, where his daughter will speak with you through the window. She asks for your help in looking for her father, who hasn't come back yet, and her mother, who went out to look for him. She tells you her mother wears a red jeweled brooch and gives you the tiny music box to bring to her. It plays one of her father's favorite songs, and they play it for him when he forgets them. The inscription on the music box has two names, Viola and Gascoigne. When you play the music box to Gascoigne, he holds his head and staggers, regaining the slightest bit of himself before the scourge of the beast takes over once more. It isn't until the fight is over that we truly get a sense at what's happened. You will find the red jeweled brooch on the body of a woman on a nearby building in the graveyard where you fought Gascoigne. The engraving on the brooch reads Viola. It seems that when Viola found her husband at Oedon's tomb, he had already lost himself, and without the tiny music box to remind him of who he was, he couldn't distinguish his wife from the beasts. The tale sadly doesn't end there. If you return the brooch to the little girl, she cries and asks if it was really her mother that you found. If you leave and come back, you'll see that the little girl has gone missing. Following the path through the sewers to Oedon's tomb, you will come across a giant pig, which you likely have already killed. Killing it this time, however, will drop a red messenger ribbon. It seems as though the little girl went to confirm what you told her was true, and was eaten by the pig instead. The tale only gets worse if you return to the house a bit later in the game. You'll find the little girl's sister at the window now, and you can return the ribbon to her. She is now orphaned and alone, and in her grief, she too dons a ribbon and leaves the house. You can find her body at the bottom of the stairs outside of the window near her house, where she seemingly jumped to her death. Of all the tales in the Souls games, the tale of Gascoigne and his family is probably one of the most tragic. Unfortunately, there will be many more dark stories found before the night is over. I'm almost done with the second drawing in this series, and we have a long way to go before the end. We actually have a few different options for the next boss, but I think I'll follow the path that the game tries to lead you on through Old Yharnam. The blood-starved beast awaits us there, and we best come prepared. If you have any weapons or attire you would like to see drawn in the fight, please let me know in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next video.